In this video, we are going to be looking at Introduction to Theory of Cost. Cost simply means what it takes to get something done. You go to school, you spend money, you spend time, you pay fare for the transport. All of these are what it takes to go to school. That is cost of schooling. But today we are not looking at cost of schooling. We are looking at cost of production. Cost of production has been defined by different professionals, accountants, and economics. So let's look at what cost of production is according to accountants. Accountants define cost of production as the monetary expenses incurred in the cost of production on both fixed inputs such as land, machines, equipment, and variable inputs such as materials. So an accountant will define cost of production as all the money spent by an entrepreneur to purchase both the fixed input and the variable inputs. That is, both the fixed input and the variable input. So all the money spent by an entrepreneur to get all the fixed input. What are the fixed inputs? These are the inputs that do not change even when the production level changes, such as land, machines, equipment. Even salary of the workers can also be included. In a case whereby salary of the workers do not increase even when they increase the production level, that kind of salary is also put under a fixed input. So all the money spent to acquire all of this input, all of these resources, all of these materials, plus the variable input. Variable inputs are input that they change when the production level changes. In another case, you can have salary to be, you can have salary or wages to be part of variable input. That would be when the the laborer gets more as they produce more. That will be under variable inputs. Materials also used for production that changes when you want to increase the production level is also part of variable inputs. All this one put together, the one you spend on the fixed input, the one you spend on the variable input, all this put together is what accountants refer as a cost of production. By this explanation, it is going to be very clear that for you to start a business, you need to spend some amount of money. You spend money on fixed input, you also spend money on variable input. But it can happen sometimes that you don't need to spend part of this fixed input or variable input. Maybe you have it in your disposal. For instance, now you want to start a business and you have land already. You have land. Maybe you want to start a small business or a cottage business. You can start a cottage business at the back of your house. Maybe you are producing chin chin. You are producing chin chin, and you use part of the portion of the land of your house, maybe at the backyard for the business, or you want to rear fish. You have your fish pond at the back of your house. So that land that you ought to pay rent for, and you are not paying rent for it now. So that kind of input, that kind of cost now is going to be reversed as implicit cost, because you own the implicit cost. You own the land. You don't pay for it. Normally it's part of accounting cost. It's part of what you need to incur. It's part of expense you need to incur. But because you have it in your disposal now, you are not incurring any cost or any cost on it. That is why we call it implicit cost. So what we define as implicit cost here, we say implicit costs are part of the accounting cost which an entrepreneur needs not to pay before the input can be acquired. You get the land at the back of your house without paying for it. That is an implicit cost. Or you yourself, you need to employ a laborer, and you see that you don't have money. You cover that position yourself. You are working as a laborer. You don't pay yourself for that service. That service you are giving, that is also referred as implicit cost. But explicit cost is part of this both of uh, fixed inputs and variable input that you need to pay for it. You need to pay for someone to render the service for you. You need to pay for someone to render the service for you. That is why we say an explicit cost. An explicit cost is part of accounting cost which an entrepreneur needs to pay before an input can be acquired. So in a simple form now, implicit costs are the cost that an entrepreneur pays or an entrepreneur incurs. So, but implicit costs are the expenses that the entrepreneur do not incur. Why explicit costs are the costs that entrepreneur must pay, to the outsiders, must pay to the outsiders. So then we look at the cost of production according to economics. So what's simply different between a cost of production of according to economics and that of accountant is just this part foregone production benefit. What is foregone production benefit? Foregone production benefit is the benefit that you were supposed to get from a particular production which you left unattended to, you know unengaged with because of the current production. For instance, now you have two business in mind. You want to produce baby worker and you want to produce sachet of pure water, then you are now in sachet of pure water, you forgo that of baby walker. The profit you were supposed to get from baby walker, that also referred as foregone production benefit. So economists count it. Economists takes into cognizance the value of that and included it into the definition of cost of production. So in a simple form now, accountants see the money spent as cost of production, while economists see the money spent plus the benefits you were to get from the foregone production in order to engage in the current production as also cost of production. That is what economists see as production, as a cost of production definition. Thank you.